Now within G-code, we have different types of variables. So I'm just going to go over the different types so we have an understanding before we get into the nitty-gritty of programming with these. Now the first type of variable I want to look at are the local variables. These are numbered between 1 and 33. Now these variables only apply to the section of program that you're currently running. So a local variable called by one macro in one part of the program is different from the same variable called at another part of the program or subroutine or subprogram. They have their uses and I'll explain this later. Now, along with local variables, we also have common variables. These are numbered between 100 and 199. These variables are shared across all of your macro programs, so if you define it in one macro program, a separate program will also have the same value if that macro is called upon. Now, common variables are cleared when the power is turned off. They're reset back to null. Now, null doesn't necessarily mean 0, it just clears the value of the variable. A variation of the common variable is the permanent common variable. Now these are numbered between 500 and 599. So in each case we have 200 variables we can call upon in each section. Now the permanent common variable is similar to the normal common variable, but it's not reset to nil every time the machine is powered down. So these variables remain in memory no matter how many times the machine has been restarted. The same with the common variable, these are shared by all of your macro programs. And one final type of variable that we have are system variables. Now the important thing to know about system variables is that we don't want to change these. Different machines that use the same controllers run these system variables and it can really mess with the way the machine works. So we don't want to adjust these variables, but we can use them within our program. Now system variables allow you to determine and set machine information. This would include things such as the machine's position, work and tool offsets, and we can also read current G codes, M codes, speeds and feeds, and offset codes. There are also system variables for programming inputs and outputs that we may need to use. This is a list of the main system variables I tend to use when I'm programming. If we need to call upon the date or the time, we can use #3011 or #3012 for these functions. We can also record a total number of parts, so we can count our parts by using variables. So #3901 is our total number of parts output. And we can also set our required number of parts within the controls, and we can print this back by using the variable #3902. Now one thing to note with system variables is that they don't show their value on the controls. We can't recall this information and see it visually. Now seeing things visually is kind of an important part of seeing things, so we can get around this by turning it into a common variable just so we can see it on the display. Now for an example of this, let's take our common variable for the time, which is #3012. So we can say #100 equals #3012. Now this would put the value of our time into the variable of #100, so we can display it and read it on the screens of the machine. So that concludes the different types of variables that we have at our disposal when we're programming G-code.